15 most stylish actors of old Hollywood. What if one actor could destroy an entire industry just by taking off his shirt? What if another man made a plain white t-shirt more iconic than any designer piece ever created? Here's the thing most people don't realize. That leather jacket hanging in your closet, one man made it cool in 1953. Those perfectly fitted suits modern tailors obsess over. Another man set that standard 70 years ago. Even the way you wear jeans and a t-shirt, that came from a rebel who only made 3 films before he died. These 15 legends didn't follow trends. They created them. And the craziest part? Most guys today are copying their style without even knowing whose look they stole. By number 1, you'll see why one actor earned the title The King and literally changed what America bought in stores overnight. Before we start, drop a comment right now. Which decade do you think had the best style? 30s, 50s, or 70s? Because I guarantee you're about to change your answer. Number 15, Warren Beatty. Tweed sport coats, knit popover shirts, and penny loafers. Warren Beatty walked that perfect line between collegiate charm and Hollywood glamour. Sounds simple, right? But Beatty transformed these preppy staples into million-dollar style. He wasn't trying to be flashy. He was showing young men in the 60s that you could dress up without looking like your father. Then came Bonnie and Clyde in 1967, and everything changed. Costume designer Theodora Van Runkel's Depression-era wardrobe sparked a massive fashion revival. 3-piece suits came roaring back into department stores. Berets became trendy overnight. Wide ties filled racks across America. Beatty didn't just wear vintage clothes. He made an entire era fashionable again. Off-screen, you'd catch him in perfectly fitted turtlenecks and tailored jackets that somehow looked effortless. His boyish good looks and that strong jaw didn't hurt either. What made Beatty stand out was how he took preppy style and gave it an edge. He proved that young Hollywood didn't have to choose between looking polished and looking cool. You could be both, and he wore that truth like a second skin. But if Beatty made collegiate cool, the next actor turned classic Polish into an art form at 6'5". Number 14, Rock Hudson, 6'5", and impossible to miss. Rock Hudson understood something most tall men don't. At that height, every detail shows. His impeccable grooming and tailoring turned potential awkwardness into commanding presence. Every suit was perfectly scaled to his frame. Every shirt was crisp enough to cut glass. His hair was always coiffed to perfection. Gray flannel suits with Glen plaid patterns became his signature throughout the 50s. Pocket squares, perfectly coordinated. Tab collars on his dress shirts added that extra touch of refinement. Hudson's formula was deceptively simple. Grooming plus tailored fit plus restraint equals timeless. He understood that at his stature, proportion was everything. Too loose, and he'd look like he was drowning in fabric. Too tight, and he'd look uncomfortable. In films like Pillow Talk, every single outfit looked magazine-ready. That wasn't luck. Hudson knew the camera intimately, knew what worked for his 6'5" frame. He set the standard for what classic male grooming should look like in the 50s and 60s, and decades later, that standard hasn't budged. Hudson mastered height and proportion, but the next man proved elegance could break barriers. Number 13, Sidney Poitier. When someone simply says the man looks great in a tux, and that's somehow the perfect description, you know you're dealing with pure elegance. Sidney Poitier brought refined sophistication to Hollywood at a time when the industry desperately needed to evolve. His slim-cut modern suits with narrow lapels were ahead of their time, pioneering a sleeker silhouette that wouldn't become mainstream until years later. Watch guess who's coming to dinner, and pay attention to his wardrobe. Simple, dark suits, perfectly knotted ties, and an air of dignity that radiated from every frame. At the 1964 Academy Awards, when he won Best Actor for Lilies of the Field, his impeccably tailored tuxedo made a statement beyond words. Poitier understood that style could be power. In an era of social change, he showed up looking polished, professional, and absolutely unshakable. At 6'2", with an athletic build and natural grace, Poitier had the physical presence to carry any look. What made him a style icon was his restraint. He didn't need flashy patterns or bold statements. His elegance was in the details. The quality fabric, the perfect knot, the way everything worked together seamlessly. Poitier brought modern, slim cuts to the forefront, but the next legend made simplicity look deceptively complex. Number 12. Paul Newman. Those piercing blue eyes could sell anything, but Paul Newman's style went deeper than genetics. Every outfit, whether work shirts and chinos or a three-piece suit, looked custom designed for his frame. The secret probably was, but the way he wore everything made it look like he just grabbed it from the closet without a second thought. Newman perfected deceptively simple style. On screen in The Sting, he wore period attire that felt authentic, never costumey. In Cool Hand Luke, even prison clothes looked intentional. Off-screen, he lived in polo shirts, leather jackets, and well-worn jeans. This was understated American sportswear at its finest. No logos, no flash, just quality pieces that aged beautifully with wear. His athletic build gave him natural advantages, sure. Newman's real style secret was wearing comfort like sophistication. He never looked like he spent hours getting ready, and that's the hardest thing to pull off. He made being at ease in your own clothes look refined. Newman made casual elegant through ease, but the next actor's versatility was something else entirely. Number 11, Robert Redford. Versatility is rare in style. Most men find one look that works and stick with it forever. Robert Redford mastered every single aesthetic he touched. Picture him in The Great Gatsby, wearing a pink suit and straw boater, with such conviction that you forget pink suits could ever look anything but perfect. Then see him as the Sundance Kid, rugged in Western wear that felt completely lived in. Then watch 3 Days of the Condor, where he's modern and sleek in a turtleneck and sport coat. Period pieces, contemporary fashion, formal, casual, everything looked natural on him. Those California good looks helped. Golden blonde hair, piercing blue eyes, and an athletic all-American build that photographed like a dream. The real magic was how he inhabited each costume rather than just wearing it. Off-screen, Redford kept it simple. Denim, plaid shirts, boots, unpretentious classics that matched his sun-kissed, outdoorsy vibe. He proved that authentic beats trendy every single time. His films show up on most stylish movies lists because the man understood how to wear clothes for the camera without ever looking like he was performing. Redford could inhabit any era, but the next man made academic style look powerful. Number 10, Gregory Peck. Academic sophistication rarely looks this commanding. Gregory Peck made the Ivy League aesthetic powerful. Tweed sport jackets, crisp Oxford button-down shirts, and those iconic horn-rimmed glasses. This was the look of a gentleman scholar, and Peck wore it with such natural dignity that suddenly, being smart looked incredibly desirable. Standing at 6'3" with perfect posture and a commanding presence, Peck had the physical gifts to make any outfit work. He chose conservative elegance. As Atticus Finch, his wardrobe was simple, timeless, and absolutely perfect for the character. Natural shouldered sport coats and muted earth tones. In Roman Holiday, he showed how to dress for European sophistication without overdoing it. Peck's approach was about restraint and quality over quantity. Conservative doesn't mean dull if the cut is right and the fabric speaks for itself. His style influenced prep school fashion and the Ivy League look for decades. He made glasses fashionable before that was even a thing. He proved that intelligence could be attractive, that looking like you just stepped out of a library could be commanding. Peck made intellectual style powerful, but the next man created an entire aesthetic from darkness. Number 9, Humphrey Bogart. Trench coat, fedora, tailored suit. If you've ever thought that combination looks cool, you're thinking of Bogart whether you know it or not. He created that image. Sharp, tailored suits, always perfectly pressed. A fedora that sat just right on his head. And that iconic Casablanca trench coat that became the uniform for every detective and tough guy that followed. Bogart perfected film noir style. His look was straightforward and masculine, never excessive. Bow ties that somehow looked tough instead of formal. Simple suits that meant business. Everything about his wardrobe said he wasn't here to impress you. He was here to get the job done. That authenticity made every outfit more powerful. Compact frame, distinctive, weathered face, not conventionally handsome by any measure. But his presence and style made him magnetic. Off-screen, he kept that same energy. Casual bow ties, simple suits, nothing showy. Bogart proved something crucial. You don't need classical good looks if you have presence and purpose in what you wear. Bogart defined film noir. Cool. But the next icon needed just 3 films to change everything. Number 8, James Dean. 3 films. That's all it took for James Dean to become a fashion icon that's still referenced today. 3 movies, and suddenly every teenager knew exactly what rebellion looked like. Red windbreaker, white t-shirt, blue jeans. That's the outfit from Rebel Without a Cause, and it's been copied a million times since. Dean perfected effortless American style for young people. His tousled blonde hair looked intentional, not messy. His leather jacket and jeans combo created the blueprint for teenage rebellion fashion. What made it work was authenticity. Dean wasn't performing cool. He was just comfortable in his own skin, wearing clothes that matched his laid-back attitude. His boyish good looks helped, but his real gift was making comfort fashionable. Off-screen, he dressed identically. Unpretentious, accessible, real. Before Dean, young men thought they needed suits to look respectable. After Dean, they realized attitude and authenticity mattered more than formality. He made denim decisively cool for the first time. Dean showed youth how to dress with just 3 films. But the next legend commanded stages with a signature accessory. Number 7. Frank Sinatra. The fedora. Cocked at just a slight angle. That's pure Sinatra. And if you see someone wearing one today, they're channeling that exact energy, whether they realize it or not. Old Blue Eyes didn't just wear clothes, he commanded them. Soft-shouldered suits that draped perfectly, but never looked tight. Tab-collared dress shirts that became his signature throughout the Rat Pack era. And always that fedora. Sinatra's approach to style was about looking put together, without seeming like he spent hours getting ready. His pocket squares were coordinated, but not matchy. His suits had personality, but weren't loud. This was the Rat Pack aesthetic at its peak. Sophisticated, cool, and effortlessly masculine. Orange and black color combinations that shouldn't have worked but somehow did on him. His slight frame and piercing blue eyes gave him advantages, but his swagger sold the look. Standing on stage or walking through a casino in Ocean's 11, Sinatra made everyone else look underdressed. He proved that stature matters infinitely, less than how you carry yourself. Sinatra owned mid-century swagger, but the next man revolutionized casual wear with one simple garment. Number 6, Marlon Brando. A white t-shirt. That's all it took. Top-stitched leather. A biker cap. Brando didn't ask for permission. He walked onto the set of a streetcar named Desire wearing a tight white t-shirt. And suddenly, the entire fashion world shifted. This wasn't formal wear. This wasn't expensive. This was a plain cotton undershirt. And Brando made it look like the most refined garment in existence. Then came the Wild One in 1953. Leather biker jacket, jeans, cap. The rebel uniform was born. Brando took blue-collar work clothes and brought them into high fashion through sheer presence and attitude. His muscular build and smoldering intensity helped, but the revolutionary part was the simplicity. You didn't need accessories or expensive fabrics. You needed conviction and the right attitude. Later in his career, wearing that iconic tuxedo as the Godfather, Brando showed he could do formal just as well. His lasting impact is about casual menswear. That white t-shirt and jeans combo that every man owns, that's Brando's legacy. He showed the world that working-class attire could be fashionable, that simple pieces worn with absolute conviction could redefine what masculine style looked like. Brando revolutionized rebellion, but the next man blended two worlds nobody thought could mix. Number 5, Gary Cooper. Cowboy boots and a three-piece suit. Only one man could wear both with equal authority, and his name was Gary Cooper. Standing at 6'3" with an athletic frame that carried clothes like they were designed just for him, Cooper understood something most actors didn't. Style isn't about choosing between rugged and refined. It's about being both. On screen in westerns, he brought class to cowboy attire. He looked as natural in spurs and denim as he did in wide-lapelled suits. That versatility came from understanding his body and what worked for his proportions. His strong jaw and piercing eyes gave him that all-American man's man look, but his style added sophistication. Off-screen, Cooper kept that same energy, understated elegance that never felt forced, never overdone, never sloppy. Just natural masculine style that blended two worlds perfectly. He influenced the Western gentleman aesthetic that's still popular today. That idea that you can wear boots and a blazer, that rugged and refined aren't opposites, but complements. Cooper blended worlds seamlessly, but the next man's minimalism spoke louder than any ornament. Number 4, Steve McQueen. The King of Cool earned that title through more than just movies. Steve McQueen's style was gritty, modern, and effortlessly masculine in a way that men still try to copy today. The Barracuda G9 Harrington jacket in Bullet became so iconic that the company still sells it as the Steve McQueen. Turtlenecks, Chukka boots, and those Persol 714 folding sunglasses in The Thomas Crown Affair. Simple, functional pieces that became legendary. Watch Bullet and pay attention to that outfit, chinos and that olive Harrington. The way McQueen moved in those clothes, the assurance he projected made that combination instant menswear history. In The Thomas Crown Affair, he wore a three-piece suit with those Persols and somehow made formal wear look rebellious. His secret was minimalism paired with attitude. With his athletic build, blonde hair, and blue eyes, McQueen had natural advantages. His real gift was understanding that swagger matters more than labels. He made sportswear masculine and edgy. His influence on modern menswear is staggering. Steve McQueen branded everything still sells, because men want to capture that raw cool he had. McQueen perfected minimalism, but the next man perfected the suit itself. Number 3, Cary Grant. Often called the best-dressed man in Hollywood history, and when you see Cary Grant in a suit, you understand why that reputation has never been challenged. Every piece fit perfectly. Not tight, not loose, just perfect. His well-cut suits with natural shoulders and minimal padding became the gold standard. The gray flannel suit he wore in North by Northwest is still studied by tailors today. Grant could run from bad guys and still look immaculate. His tuxedos in film after film set the bar so high that everyone else was competing for second place. Standing at 6'1" with broad shoulders and a narrow waist, he had ideal proportions. What made Grant legendary was his obsession with how clothes should sit on the body. A cheaper suit that fits right beats an expensive suit that doesn't. Off-screen, Grant maintained that elegance, but relaxed it. Gray flannel suits, navy blazers, subtle patterns, never flashy, always refined. His signature color palette of grays and navy influenced mid-century fashion completely. When modern men talk about timeless style, they're usually describing Cary Grant, whether they know it or not. Grant perfected tailoring, but the next man made the impossible look effortless. Number 2, Fred Astaire. Dancing in a full tuxedo sounds impossible. Top hat and tails with white spats. Performing complex choreography while making it look effortless? That sounds like fantasy. Fred Astaire did it constantly in films like Top Hat, and somehow his clothes never looked like they were holding him back. That's because Astaire was a perfectionist about every detail. He insisted that cameras show his full body while dancing, which meant every piece of his outfit had to be perfect from every angle. Three-piece tuxedos that most men can barely walk in, Astaire wore while spinning across ceilings. His signature top hats and tails became iconic, not just because they looked good, but because he made formal wear look functional. Here's something most people don't know. Astaire had unusually large hands that didn't match his slender frame. He learned to hide them in photos, and while dancing, turning a perceived flaw into invisible technique. Off-screen, he'd casually use neckties as belts, adding unexpected flourishes to simple outfits. Astaire proved formal wear could be functional, but the man at number one? He literally changed an industry. Number one, Clark Gable, the king. That's what they called him. And Clark Gable earned that crown through sheer presence and impeccable style. But here's what makes Gable number one. He changed an entire industry with a single costume choice. In It Happened. One night from 1934, Gable appeared on screen without an undershirt, just his bare chest under his shirt. Reportedly, undershirt sales across America plummeted overnight. One scene, one actor, an entire market shifted. That's the power of true style influence, but Gable's impact went far beyond that moment. His slicked back hair and trim mustache became the template for masculine glamour in the 1930s. Sharp, tailored suits that kept him looking rakish and refined at all times. As Rhett Butler in Gone with the Wind, his wardrobe set trends that influenced men's fashion for years. His tall frame, broad shoulders, and commanding presence helped him carry any look. Those famous ears that could have been a weakness, he owned them completely, never letting perceived flaws diminish his authority. That's the real lesson from Gable. Style isn't about being perfect. It's about owning who you are completely and unapologetically. These 15 men didn't just dress well. They created the entire foundation for modern masculine style. From Brando's white t-shirt, to McQueen's minimalism, to Grant's perfect suit, to Gable's industry-changing presence, every rule you follow about how men should dress came from one of these legends. Their style was timeless because it wasn't about following trends. It was about understanding what works for your body, choosing quality, and wearing everything with absolute conviction. It was about knowing exactly who you were and refusing to apologize for it. That's the secret they all shared. So look at what you're wearing right now. Chances are, somewhere in that outfit, you're channeling one of these 15 icons. Maybe it's the cut of your jeans from James Dean. Maybe it's the simplicity from Marlon Brando. Maybe it's the tailored authority from Cary Grant. Their legacy lives in every choice men make about style, and it always will. Because style isn't about clothes, it's about conviction. And these 15 men had it in abundance.